Hello everyone and welcome to the class. My name is Audrey and today we'll have another lesson in our series of idiom lessons. Okay, so if you've joined my idiom classes before, you know what happens. We have several idioms that are in context, and we'll look at the sentences in context to try and figure out the meaning of the idiom. Okay, so even if you don't know what the idiom means, if you've never seen it before, don't worry. We'll look at the sentence to try and find the meaning, and if not, then we can always help each other. Okay, so let's see who we have. We have Candelario. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, I didn't tell you the last class, but actually I'm Jose, but it says Candelario because he's my father's Google Plus account, and
I
that's my
see.
father's name.
Excellent. Then I will call you Jose, right? Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Perfect, perfect. So nice to see you again, Jose. Remind us where you're from.
I'm from Venezuela.
Sorry, can you say one more time?
I'm from Venezuela.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So welcome. We also have Igor. Welcome, Igor. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you very much. I'm from Israel.
Okay, excellent. Nice to have you.
Okay.
We also have, is it Lily? Are you there, Lily?
Yes, sorry.
Excellent, no problem. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm
Nice
from
to
Quebec.
see you. Quebec?
Yeah.
Okay,
Quebec.
perfect, perfect. Nice to have you. We also have, help me with your name, is it Mahu?
Yes,
Okay, perfect. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Great, and where are you from?
I'm from Portugal.
Okay, perfect. Let's see, we have Nihan. Welcome, Nihan.
Hi, Audrey. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. I'm from Turkey.
Excellent, excellent. Nice to see you today. And
Thank
we
you.
also have Roman. Welcome, Roman.
How are things?
Yes, great. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Always nice to see you. And tell us where you're from.
I'm from Ukraine.
Okay, perfect. And lastly, we have Sabri. Welcome, Sabri.
Hi, how are you?
Excellent. How are you today?
I'm fine.
Okay, perfect. And tell us where you're from.
I'm sorry?
Tell us where you're from, Sabri.
I'm from Turkey.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So again, we're going to go ahead and get started with the lesson. If you have been here before, then you know what happens. Otherwise, don't worry. We'll just read the example sentences together. And after we read them, we'll try and figure out the meaning, okay? Let's see. We have help me with your name. Zolzaya? Are you there? You might need to unmute your microphone, so click on that microphone button right above the verb link chat. But I'll come back to you in a second, okay? Let me go ahead and share my screen. So we're going to look at several new idioms. Some of them I'm sure you've seen before. Others might be new to you. And try and find the meaning based on the context, okay? So we're going to start with this one, a taste of your own medicine. And Jose, would you read this one for us?
a taste of your own medicine. You're always insulting me, but now it's time to give you a taste of your own medicine.
Okay, perfect. So a taste of your own medicine. What do you think, Jose, based on this sentence? What do you think that this idiom means?
It is like giving to someone something that person does to other people, like a revenge, like something like that. But the same thing that he or she does to the other people.
Right, exactly. Perfect explanation. So a taste of your own medicine would be if somebody usually does something to you or does something to other people, now you're going to do that same thing to them. Okay, so in this case, you're always insulting me. Now it's time to insult you back or to give you a taste of your own medicine. Excellent. Any questions here? Anybody in the class or in the chat have questions about this one? It's clear?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So let's go to the next one. And remember that after we're finished going through all of them and reviewing all of them, we will repeat and try and use them in conversation with examples. Okay, so even if you don't understand it 100%, don't worry. So next, let's go to Igor. Igor, this next one is the apple of one's eye. And could you read it for us?
His little girl was the apple of his eyes ever since the day she was born.
Okay, great. So what do you think, Igor, it means to be the apple of one's eye?
It means to be very important to somebody.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So to be very important, maybe even the most important person in that person's life. Okay, to be the apple of one's
Okay.
eye. Okay, perfect. Any questions about that one? Okay, let's go to the next one.
No.
Next we have to bite off more than one can chew. Okay, it's a pretty long one. Mahu, could you read it for us?
We might have bitten off more than we can chew with this new project.
Okay, excellent. So what do you think, Mahu? Have you seen this one before?
Audrey, it's kind of a more than someone who can deal with. It's a larger mouthful of food that you cannot chew easily. It's not comfortable to chew them, and its meaning is kind of you cannot deal all of that kind of problems, issues.
Right, exactly. And that's an excellent example of when we think about the literal meaning, it makes sense in the figurative meaning, or it makes sense in the idiom. So just like you explained, if we bite a bigger mouthful than we can handle, than we can chew, it's the same thing here. We've taken on something that's more or larger than we can handle. Okay, so especially with this example, with this project is more difficult, more time consuming than we thought. Maybe we can't handle it. Okay?
Okay.
So excellent explanation, Nihan. Any questions there?
No, it's clear.
That's clear.
Okay, great. Let's go next to choose someone out. And this one's for you, Nihan. Would you read it for us?
My pleasure. To cheat someone out, my boss chiefed me out for coming to work 2 hours late.
Okay, great. So to choose someone out, what do you think, Nihan?
I think it's kind of warning. His or her boss warn him to be late.
Like a warning, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Could be a warning. Similar. Any other ideas? What do you think? What else could it mean?
Maybe like scolding, like scolding someone for do something.
Right, right. Okay, so to choose someone out is more like to scold them. Usually when you're very angry, to choose someone out, scolding them and talking to them for a long time, or yelling at them for a long time. So you can imagine a boss just yelling at you for 10 minutes because you came to work 2 hours late. Okay, so it's scolding, but very intense scolding.
To punish with words, verbally.
Right,
Maybe.
exactly. Okay.
More
Teach-
than one.
Mow up, maybe.
Say again, Sabri?
Mow up, maybe.
Mow up?
Yes.
I haven't heard that one before. Is that an idiom?
Maybe be manager instead of maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't heard that phrase before. Okay, but to choose someone out, again, just to scold them verbally. Usually when the person is very angry. So their boss is very angry, they're yelling at them.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Next we have to crack someone up. Okay, so first we had to choose someone out. This is to crack someone up. Roman, would you read it for us?
Of course, they had so much fun and cracked each other up every time they were together.
Okay, great. So what do you think, Roman?
I'm not sure, but maybe it means to have a good time with a person.
Right, so that's part of it, to crack each other up or to crack someone up. They're having a good time.
Maybe make a joke.
They're making jokes.
Or laugh at each other.
Right, perfect. Okay, so that's the key. To crack someone up means to make them laugh. Okay, so we had so much fun, or they've had so much fun and cracked each other up or made each other laugh every time they were together. Okay, so that's exactly the meaning, to make someone laugh. Usually to make them laugh very hard. Any questions there?
No.
No?
Okay, great. Let's go next to drive someone up the wall. And Sabri, could you read it for us?
Okay. To drive someone up the wall. You are driving me up the wall with your obnoxious things. I'm sorry.
Okay.
What do you say? Obnoxious?
Right, this is obnoxious. Obnoxious.
Obnoxious.
What does it mean to be obnoxious?
I don't know.
Does anybody in the class know?
Disgusting. Kind of disgusting.
Not exactly disgusting.
Like hateful,
Ugly.
make someone hate you for doing that.
Okay, so someone might hate you if you're obnoxious. Anything else? What else do you think it means to be obnoxious?
Maybe ugly.
Ugly?
Yeah.
Not really ugly. What do you think, Nihan? What were you saying?
Maybe how can I spell it? In a appropriate way.
Inappropriate? Yeah,
Yeah.
the best way to define obnoxious would be extremely annoying.
Extremely
Okay?
annoying.
Right, right. So it's not necessarily ugly or hateful, but just somebody who is extremely annoying. Okay? So you're driving me up the wall with your obnoxious or extremely annoying singing.
Irritate me.
Right. Okay, so to drive someone up the wall is to irritate them greatly. Okay? Any questions about that one?
Can you pronounce the words again, please?
Obnoxious.
Obnoxious. Okay.
Right, obnoxious. Okay, perfect. So to drive someone up the wall means to irritate them or annoy them a lot. Okay, next we have this one, everything but the kitchen sink. And we have, help me, is it Vijosa? Are you there? You might need to unmute your microphone by clicking on that microphone icon above the verb link.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. You?
Excellent. Welcome to the class. Would you like to read this one for us? Would you like to read this one on the presentation? Everything but the kitchen sink.
Do I have to read this or what?
Yes, to read it for us.
Everything but the kitchen sink.
Okay, and the rest?
This pizza has pepperoni, sausage, spinach, everything but the kitchen sink.
Okay, great. And what do you think? What do you think this one means?
I think the pizza has spinach. I don't know. I'm not good in English.
No, don't worry. You're doing a great job. Okay, so this pizza has pepperoni, sausage, spinach, everything but the kitchen sink. So what do you think in this case that phrase means?
The kitchen sink.
And if you're not 100% sure, that's okay. Ask for maybe some help from your classmates.
Maybe you can think, but instead of including, it includes everything. Whatever you think, it includes everything.
Right, exactly. Okay, so if you think of if you're making some kind of food, you put everything in the kitchen, every kind of food that's in the kitchen. The only thing you don't put in it is the sink. Okay?
Mixing everything up.
Right. So you're taking everything, mixing everything up, everything you can imagine. Okay, but the kitchen sink.
When I was traveling, I put everything but the kitchen sink in my baggage. And it's
Perfect.
very heavy.
Excellent. Okay, any other questions here?
This phrase is used only talking about food, or you can use it in other things?
The most common way that it's used is talking about food because it references the kitchen. But you can use it in other contexts as well.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, next we have this one. One's own flesh and blood. And Zolzaya, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Welcome to the class. Would you like to read us this one?
Okay. One's own flesh and blood. How could you steal money from your own flesh and blood?
Okay,
I
excellent.
think it's how could you save money from more? It's your relatives or something.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm,
Right.
it's your close your family or your someone who very close to you.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So one's own flesh and blood, your own flesh and blood is your family or your relatives.
Mm,
Okay, perfect. And it's typically used for your relatives that are younger than you, the younger generations, but we can use it more generally for your whole family. So one's own flesh and blood, meaning your family. Okay, any questions there?
Nope.
Okay, next we have the graveyard shift. Jose, would you read it for us?
Okay. Uh, Graveyard shift. If James is going to work in the graveyard shift tonight, he will need some coffee. I think it means that is the time he is working in the very at night at midnight, and is the shift between the very late and the very late work, I think.
Mm-hmm. Right, right. So when we're talking about a shift, that means a period of time that you work. So just like you said, the graveyard shift is going to be referring to that time of working where you work from late at night to early in the morning. Okay, so we might work from 12 o'clock in the night to 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, excellent. Graveyard shift. Any questions about this one?
No.
Okay, great. Next we have to hit the sack. Igor, could you read it for us?
I can't keep my eyes open any longer. It's time to me to hit the sack. It means to go to sleep.
Right, perfect. To hit the sack, to go to sleep. It's time for
Explain
me
it.
to go to sleep. Roman, what was it?
Does it mean that it will be proper sleep or it is only short sleep? Do you understand me?
It's you. Right, so you mean instead of like sleeping for a short period in the day?
Yes, yes. I mean, to hit the sack, it's the have proper rest, so sleep for a long time, or just sleep during maybe hour to have a short rest.
When we say hit the sack, we usually mean the proper rest. So when you are tired at the end of the day and you want to sleep for the rest of the night. That's usually what we refer to. Okay, so we're not talking about taking a quick nap. If it's time to hit the sack, it means it's time to rest for a long time. Okay,
Yes, thank you.
great question. Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, let's go next to hold your horses. And Mahu, would you read it for us?
Yes, hold your horses. Dinner will be ready in 15 minutes.
Okay, so what does it mean to hold your horses, Mahu? What do you think?
Perhaps is setting the table.
Not to set the table, although that's a good guess.
No, I guess it's kind of a horse races when the all horses is the same level and somebody try to rush and you say, hold your horses, take it easy, please don't be rush.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
Wait
wait.
a minute.
Audrey,
Yeah.
is it the same expression to hold your water?
To hold your water?
Yeah. I heard it in a movie, and the girl said, "Hold your water."
I'm not sure. I guess it depends on the context, but I haven't heard that expression. Maybe if I heard it in the context, I would know what they meant.
Okay, and can I think it's maybe be patient. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm. Right. Hold your horses. Be patient or wait. Wait just a second. It will be finished soon. Okay, so exactly. And Nihan, the way that you explained it was perfect about the horse races. We can imagine the horse races, and they'll say, hold your horses or don't go yet. Don't rush just yet. Okay, but of course we can use it in many other ways than just horse races. Okay, any other questions about this one?
No.
No.
Let's go next to icing on the cake. Icing on the cake. And Nihan, could you read it for us?
Sure. Icing on the cake. The salary of the new job was fantastic, and the vacation time was icing on the cake. Is it meaning of it's very easy? Or
Not that
no,
it's
no, no,
very
no.
easy.
It means, I guess, the cake is very delicious, but icing on the cake is more delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
the salary is very good, but the most fantastic is the vacations time on that job.
Right, right. And you're very close to the meaning. There's just a slight difference. So when we say
Excellent.
icing, right, okay, it means excellent. But when we say icing on the cake, it means something extra. So, like you said, Nihan, the salary of the job was fantastic, and the vacation time was extra, something extra that was also even better. Okay, so it made the cake, it made the job even better.
Okay, can you explain me please icing? I understand what is it, but what is it exactly? It's something like dry vinegar or
No,
something.
it's
Go
a
ahead, Igor.
melting sugar on the cake.
Cream or
Right,
No, it's
so
that kind of.
when you have a cake, the thing that you cover the cake with, it's like a sweet cream that you cover the cake with that makes it look nice and makes it taste sweet.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so think about a cake. A cake is delicious by itself, but it's even better with icing on it. So the icing on the cake is something that makes a good thing even better.
So it means salary is good, also the vacation time is good, enough.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
It's like awesome.
Right, right. So the icing on the cake is what makes it awesome or even better. Okay, any other questions?
No.
No,
Excellent.
no.
Next we have to get off on the wrong foot. And, oh, sorry, my screen went off. Let me put it back. Okay, to get off on the wrong foot. Roman, could you read it for us?
Yes, of course. To get off on the wrong foot. Frank got off on the wrong foot with Janice, but they will try to start the relationship over. Interesting. I don't exactly. It's something like when two people argue with each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so they could be arguing. That's close.
Swear each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're on the right track. They're not getting along. Anything else? What do you think?
I think it will be like doing something, a mistake, doing something wrong at the start of something, and like Frank do say something bad, talking with Jessica, and he got off the ground foot.
Right. So when we say to get off on the wrong foot, it refers to the beginning of something. So basically, we got a bad start, like Jose said. Okay, so Frank got off on the wrong foot with Jessica, or he started off bad.
Origin of this idiom, Audrey? To start with a wrong foot?
Right. So I'm thinking maybe if you're in a marching band or if you're trying to march together in sequence with somebody or with a group, you have to maybe you start with your right foot every time. Okay, so everybody is supposed to start with their right foot. But if you start with the wrong foot, you'll be wrong from the whole start.
It goes very, very bad experience from now then.
Right, from the beginning. So if you start on the wrong foot, the whole thing is going to be messed up. Okay, so if you get off on the wrong foot with Jessica, if Frank got off on the wrong foot with Jessica, the whole relationship was messed up because they had a bad start.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
No.
Next, let's go to this one, in the bag. In the bag. Sabri, could you read it for us?
Yes, in the bag. You are the perfect candidate. You have got this job in the bag. This team in the back. Guaranteed 3 points, maybe.
Right. Okay, so in this case, if you're the perfect candidate, you've got this job in the bag, or you've got it guaranteed. Okay?
It's very interesting because we have the same statement, the same audio idiom, but we say you have a job in you have got the job in the pocket.
In the pocket. Okay, interesting. So hopefully that'll help you to remember. You've got this job in the bag or in the pocket.
Maybe they are playing in the bag and very bad poker play.
Could be.
We use it in our own language. The partridge is in the back.
The partridge?
Yeah.
Oh,
because
very good.
To hunt the partridge is very easy, and the partridge is in your bag, in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
We use it in our language. Same idiom.
Okay, excellent. Any other questions?
No.
Does anybody else have a similar idiom? It's interesting to hear how the idioms are similar, or how they kind of change a little bit in different languages.
In Hebrew, there is the same idiom, like in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
In Spanish is the same, in the pocket.
Okay, very good. So just remember, say in the bag, not in the pocket, but just remember in the bag in English. Okay, excellent. And by the way, welcome to the class, Alberto. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was all of the idioms that we had for now. So right now is the time to review, because I know we've learned them pretty quick if they were new for you. So we're going to review and practice using them in conversation. And before we do that, I'm just going to again post that link in the chat. It's also in the description. If you would just take a little bit of time to go over all of the idioms that we learned and ask any questions that you have right now. Any specific questions, we'll ask them right now, and then we'll review and practice how to make correct sentences using them. Okay, so everybody just take a couple seconds, maybe like a minute, to look through all of the idioms. And if you see one that you didn't quite understand, you don't understand 100%, or maybe you missed it, you came in late, just ask us about it. Your class will help you, and we will start the review. Okay, so I'm just going to wait a few seconds. If you see one, just ask me.
I think I didn't understand completely the second one.
Okay, let's go to it. So we have the apple of one's eye, the apple of one's eye. Who in the class understood this one very well and would like to explain it?
Yeah, I was distracted.
No problem, no problem. So would anybody like to explain this one, the apple of one's eye?
Is somebody who...
Okay, continue. It means very expensive, something that you are afraid to lose.
Okay, yeah, it could be something that you're afraid to use, but it's usually referring to a person. So in this case,
very
his
precious.
little girl,
Or very
something that's
dear.
very precious and very dear.
What's the origin of this idiom, Audrey? The apple of one's eyes.
That's an excellent question that I have no answer to. I don't know what it means to be the apple of one's eye, literally. But that's interesting. I'll look it up while we're reviewing, and if I find a good answer, I'll tell you, okay?
I think it's easy to understand because the apple of the eyes is maybe very important part of our body because if we hurt this part of the eyes, we became blind. So maybe.
But which part of the eye is the apple? I don't know.
The apple is in the middle of the eyes, the black hole in the eye. This is the apple.
Really?
I've never heard it called the
your
apple.
eye. Apple eye.
Yes, it's your eyes cup, like your rounded cup. This part.
No, this part of the eye that became wider and
smaller and larger.
And smaller and interact to a light. It calls an apple of the eye. So maybe from this point of view, this part is so important for us.
Interesting. I've always heard that called the pupil. I've never heard it called the apple before. Okay.
We have
interesting.
the same idiom.
Oh, you have the same idiom?
Yes, because the human eye is very important. So everyone needs to protect it, right? So if someone have something too important, they need to protect, they need to love, and all the things. So like protect your apple of eyes, something like that. They have words.
Okay, very interesting. So I'm glad that you guys had some answers for that, because I had no idea where this one came from. Okay, excellent. So I hope this one is clear now that we've discussed it a little bit. So keep looking, others in the class. Were there any others that you had questions about? or that you're not 100% sure about?
Yes, one's own flesh and blood. I didn't understand clearly. Maybe I didn't catch.
Okay, let's go back. One's own flesh and blood. And we had some good explanations from the classmates. So what do you think, class? How would you say to Nihan what this one means?
Well,
Flesh means the piece of the body, and blood is, it's a blood. So it means that every part of yourself.
Igor, I know the vocabulary, but how can we use it? I didn't get it.
it's like you're referring to someone is your family, your relatives. Like an example, if your brother does something bad to you and you say, "How could you do that to your own flesh and blood?" Because it's your family.
Okay,
Right,
thank you.
exactly. Perfect.
Great
maybe,
example, thank you.
maybe it's the same to cut on finger. The same.
Yeah. So to cut your own finger, it's like your own part of your body because your family is part of you.
Okay.
Okay, excellent explanation and example. So keep looking at the presentation. What else did you not understand completely?
Repeat, please.
Sure. Was there any other idioms that we went over that you didn't understand completely? So keep looking through and see if there were any that you didn't understand.
Explain me once again. Graveyard shift. It means that person have very difficult work.
Not necessarily. Tell us, Nihan.
I guess it's about the work time. It's the very beginning of the morning. That kind of shift is very hard.
Right. It's referring not to the type of work, but to the time that you work. Okay, so the graveyard shift is typically from about midnight to 8 o'clock in the morning. It's the time from the night to the morning. Right, the night shift.
Night shift, actually, yeah. Okay, thank you.
To crack someone up is...
Okay, to crack someone up. Who could explain that one?
Which?
To crack someone up.
To crack someone
Like making someone really laughing or something like that. Make him laugh.
Exactly. So to crack someone up is to make them laugh, usually very hard.
It doesn't mean to say compliments one each other?
No, not to say compliments, just to make each other laugh.
Okay.
Okay, so I could say, you crack me up. Every time I'm with you, I laugh really hard.
Yeah, it's okay, it's okay.
Any other questions?
Cheer someone out is fire.
Which one? To choose someone out?
Yes.
It's not necessarily to fire them, although they could fire them. What does it mean, class, to choose someone out?
To get very angry, to yell at them, and
to scold them.
When your mother, when you was a child, your mother can choose you out when you do something very bad, and
Okay, exactly. To choose someone out, to get angry and yell at them for a long time.
Taste of your, because I just came one's own flesh and blood. That's why I don't know the previous word. So a taste of your own medicine. The first one is.
Okay, let's see. A taste of your own medicine. Class, what does it mean, this one?
it is giving someone the same that that person does to other people in like a revenge, like a payback.
Right, exactly.
Good.
Okay, so it's like a revenge or a payback. You do something to somebody that they do to others or to you.
An
And
example could be if someone always are insulting the other people, and you got to give his a taste of your own medicine.
Kind of teaching him or her a lesson to do the
Yeah.
same thing, but to teach him a lesson, kind of
right,
revenge.
right, exactly. Okay,
Okay, thanks.
perfect. And remember, a taste of your own medicine is always used with something negative. So we don't do something nice for someone if they did something nice for you. We won't use it in this case. This is always like payback or revenge, something negative. Okay, any other questions?
Yes, teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I have a doubt. Everything but the kitchen sink.
Okay, perfect. Let's look at that one. Okay, class, let's help them out. What does it mean, everything but the kitchen sink?
It means to mix up everything in the same place. So you can take different things. For example, you can take some things from your table. It can be pencil, eraser, and another things to one bag. It's the same, I think.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you take absolutely everything you can see and you put it together. So maybe your bag or your bowl or whatever you have contains everything but the kitchen sink.
Everything but the kitchen sink. Thank you.
Okay. And again, I just wanted to point out that it's most commonly used for food because it's referring to the kitchen, but it can be used for other things as well. So a lot of times we'll use it for food. That's where it came from, is using it for food, but we can use it for other things as well.
The meaning is not seems very delicious, I guess. If you put everything in it, it could not be very delicious.
Yes, sometimes it depends. Sometimes it's said as a good thing, and sometimes it's like, that's disgusting, you put way too much in that.
Yeah.
Okay? There's a restaurant that has an everything but the kitchen sink dessert, and they put everything in it. And that's what they call it.
When my mother away, I prepare some soup and I put it everything but the kitchen sink.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Any other questions? So keep looking through that document. Any other questions you had?
Audrey, how could we able to use that kind of idioms when we are speaking fluently? When we see these idioms, we can guess what they are meaning. But I guess when you are using second language, we don't use this kind of idioms when we are speaking. How can we improve that kind of idioms to use?
And the best way to do that really is to hear them used over and over again. So when you hear them used, you become comfortable in how they're supposed to sound fluently in a sentence. So I know that it's hard sometimes because you don't know what the correct word order is or how to use them properly in a sentence. But the more that you hear them over and over again used, you'll become more comfortable with how to change them according to the situation. Okay, so if you'd like, are there any other questions before? And we have a few more minutes. We can practice trying to make sentences in ordinary conversation, like you were wondering about Nihan. And I'll tell you how might you say it better. Okay, so any other questions before we do that?
Let's try.
Okay, let's try. Okay, so let's go to the first one. Well, let's go to some of the ones that we didn't go over. Okay, we'll go with to bite off more than one can chew. And let me ask Sabri. Sabri, do you understand what this one means? You don't have to tell us, but do you understand what it means?
A little.
Okay, so maybe let's see. Somebody who understands this one really well, try to use it in a sentence or in a question to Sabri. So for example, if I was to ask to you, Sabri, in your job, do you think you bit off more than you could chew?
Yeah, new job, maybe. To bit off more than one can chew. Maybe I don't know.
That's okay.
In my job, I have to answer the telephones. I have to guest to our clients. Sometimes I have to pick them to the airport. I have some paperwork. I have to beat of more than one work to can achieve. You see,
No,
I
I
cannot
don't
use
think
it
so.
in the sentences.
No, I don't think.
Okay, what do you think, Roman? How do you think it should be?
Okay, for example, I was appointed as a chief operator, but now I admit that I can beat off more than one can chew.
Okay, almost perfect. So your example is a perfect situation of when you would use this. Just the way that you say it should be
Without can, yes?
right. So it should be I bit off more than I can chew.
Okay, I
Can I
understand.
say?
Sure. Was it Lily? You wanted to make a sentence?
Yeah, please. Maybe we can use it with a food also. Yes.
You could use it with a
For
food,
example,
literally.
yeah. For example, I asked my friend, "How many hot dog can you eat?" He said, "I can eat 5 hot dog," and I give him 5 hot dog. But after 2 hot dog, he's full. It's like, yeah, I'm right.
Right. So he could say he bit off more than he
More
could
than
chew.
he's okay.
Right.
Can
Exactly.
I say something like I have bitten off more than I can chew with this game difficult. For example, if I get playing a game very difficult, I could say something like that.
Right. So you could say I've bitten off more than I can chew with this difficult game. Okay, so maybe you didn't think it was going to be as hard as it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent examples.
Maybe I can not chew because I have a good job.
Okay, great. So you say you can chew this, you have a good job.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Any other examples you might like to try? Those others in the class, would you like to try some other examples with this one? Okay, it's clear. It's a little bit more clear now that we practiced it, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to this one. We haven't practiced this one, the icing on the cake. Okay, and let me see. Jose, would you like to try and ask somebody in the class a question using icing on the cake?
Um, um, Maybe if I ask Lily, how is your work? Your job, your new job. How is your new job?
That's a question
Ma-
for me.
Okay,
Maybe.
so how would you use the icing on the cake in that question?
we have to use this expression question. I understand. Yes.
Right.
So maybe it will be better to say, do you have icing on the cake on your new job?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. Do you have icing on the cake, or what's the icing on the cake in your new job?
The opportunities is the opportunities that I achieve, that I gain is icing on the cake for my new job.
Okay,
Is
perfect,
that
perfect.
like a great thing in your new job?
Right, something that's great, something that's extra. So you might have the pay, the salary is good, or the benefits are good, the vacation is good. But what Nihan said,
Experiences are good.
right, and what you said, Nihan, the opportunities, the experience is the icing on the cake. It's what makes all the good things even better. Okay, perfect. So let's practice making a couple more examples. Who would like to give it another example using the icing on the cake? Anybody?
Maybe I bought a new car, but the tank was full of gas. That's icing on the cake.
Right, perfect, perfect. So it'd be great if you get a new car and they gave you a full tank of gas on top of the already nice car. Okay, so that was icing on the cake. Perfect. Okay, let's go to another one. How about this one? To drive someone up the wall. Let's see, maybe Alberto, would you like to ask somebody a question using this one?
Yeah. What is the last person who drive you up the wall? I answer to Candelario.
Sorry?
Who was the last person
Okay, yeah.
that
Right.
drive you up the wall?
I could say my friends were driving me up the wall with his obnoxious commentaries, for example.
Okay,
Obnoxious.
great. Obnoxious, obnoxious. Okay, perfect. So they were driving you up the wall. And just remember, Alberto, when you asked the question, you said, who was the last person who drove? Okay, it'd be in the past tense, who drove you up the wall.
Yeah, mistake.
Okay? No problem, no problem. That's the difficult thing about these idioms is you have to remember to conjugate everything, right? But great. Who drove you up the wall? Okay.
When my mother started to grouch, she drives me up the wall.
Good. But when you said, because you said when my mother started to grouch, then you would say she drove.
Drove me up the wall, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, great. Any other examples you'd like to try, those in the class?
Maybe I try. Her shopping spree drive me up the wall.
Okay, great. The shopping spree, and you would say drives. Drives.
Yeah. Her shopping spree drives me up the wall.
Perfect. So again, just remember you have to conjugate. If you have verbs in the idiom, you still have to remember to conjugate those verbs.
Okay.
Okay, great.
We are out of time.
Yes, we're out of time, unfortunately. But again, if you look in the verb link chat and in the description, you can get that link again, and you'll be able to look at these example sentences, try practicing, making them on your own, and hopefully you'll become a little bit more comfortable with using these on your own. Okay, so the most important thing, remember to conjugate those verbs. That's what's going to make you sound more comfortable and more natural when you're saying these idioms. Okay?
Good morning, everyone. Daddy here.
So thank you everyone for joining the class. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you learned a lot.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.